Right, so in this example, I'm going to just show you how you can make some stylistic changes to your maps using CSS. All right, so I have our map we've been working with here, but I've changed like the border color and the background color for this layers list, and then for the zoom controls. So how did I do that? So I did it basically with CSS. So we're not really going to talk too much about the map because there's nothing new here. We're just going to talk about the styling. Okay, so in this document, I've got my index file here, and it's linked to my style sheet and then a bunch of other style sheets. So if I go into my styles, you can see that I've applied some styles in here to some of these default leaflet classes. And one thing that's complicated is that you have to figure out what classes actually correspond or impact different objects within the map. So generally you can do that by looking at the base leaflet CSS and just playing around with it and seeing what is causing what features to change. You can also use the development tools, which are helpful for figuring that out. Okay, so for example, in this map I changed the background color of that symbol to green, and I did that using, let's see here, leaflet controls layer toggle. So let's change it to black. So that CSS is what changed that there. Change it back. Okay. For the border, I did that using the div that the map is in. So I centered it, and then I set the border to solid and to that green color, and then I set to a thick width, or a thick width. All right, and then again, if I wanted to, I could change this to something else. So there it is, a black border. Okay, and then to change the pan, I actually went in and messed around with the settings in the zoom slider here. So that was the CSS that came along with that plugin that allows you to use this slider. So to do that, I just made changes throughout here. So, for example, let's change this to red real quick so we can see it. All right, so I just changed that there. So again, you just got to figure out what does what. That's hover. The outline color, let's see if we can figure out what caused that. These are for the knobs. That should be, that's the border. So let's change this to, that's the color of the little slider knob there. Let's see what this one does. That's the interior of it. Let's see what this does. That's around the margin. So anyway, if you want to mess around with some of the default styles so that it matches, say, your web page or your theme a bit more, you can go in here and mess around with the style sheets. It's generally not a good idea to go into like the leaflet style sheet and change it, because you might mess up something that where multiple objects called the same class, for example, and you screw up one thing when you're just trying to change the other. So it's better to make these changes in your style sheet. And then if you want your styles to be honored over the original styles, then you just want to make sure that that's the last one in the list of links in the style sheets, again, because of the precedence.